It's Rich, Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you today? Yeah, I've got my special set up behind here for today's barn chat. Yeah, looks a little like a kitchen, doesn't it? They got to clean off the counter back there. Anyway, go grab your coffee and tea, whatever you're drinking. Come on back. We'll be getting this thing started here pretty quickly. Alrighty, back. I don't know why I'm so happy today. It is a miserable day out there, kind of cool and cloudy. Gotta go take a vitamin D pill or something. Man, tired of the rain. Anyway, see, I can say that now. I don't have cattle on the ground. Huh? Uh, there was a time whenever it was raining, I was a happy lad, let me tell you. Uh, yeah, keep that stuff a growing. But how y'all doing today? Doing good? So, today I've been watching some stuff unfold, and it makes me a little nervous about what's going on politically in this country. Um, Man, I didn't know that. I've been watching what's been going on out there in Virginia. Those folks out there. You know, here again, it boils down to the following: city people are not anything like country people. Two different animals. City people, they pick up 911 and they get somebody with a gun shows up at their door. Out here, you call 911. Good luck. It may be a spell before anybody shows up. Um, yeah, and being able to defend yourself may come in to be a pretty handy. If nothing else, hold them long enough for the guys with the authority to show up. But that's not going to fly worth a hoot. And some of them are talking pretty radical. Where counties themselves are becoming sanctuary counties. Is that what it's going to come to? We got to move into a sanctuary to protect our constitutional rights? What's wrong with that picture, huh? Man. What are we coming to? And it makes me start thinking about federal elections. What happens if these gun banning nuts take over the federal government? We gonna have that kind of problem then? Where they're passing all kinds of laws and expecting us to go along with it. I don't know, man. I don't want to. I want to say it could lead to some really bad situations, but I think it could lead to some really bad situations. And once you get that snowball rolling down the hill, sometimes it's pretty hard to stop it. Because you already got a population out there that just not real crazy about what the federal government's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, who knows? But yeah, that's something that I think folks out in the rural areas need to think about a little bit, but people in the city need to start thinking about this too. There's two entirely different lifestyles, going on there. When you have folks in the city, they need the protection of the government. They need the help of the government. Without constant government help and aid and things of this nature, they'd be up a creek without a paddle now, I'm telling you. Where in the country, you're more self-sufficient. You learn to take care of yourself. If bad things come to your door, you deal with it. If your streets need to be repaired, you go down to the county office and get on the desk of the street department and start raising Cain with them, nose to nose, face to face. Two different worlds. And they don't really understand this out here. They think we're all a bunch of nutcases clinging to God and our guns and, so forth. When, I wish we lived in a society that you didn't need to protect yourself. But the fact of the matter is, we don't. And probably never will. Matter of fact, I think as long as man's been walking around on this planet, you've got bad guys. Okay? It's just the nature of the beast, and the only thing that helps keep bad guys in check is good guys with guns. Okay? Or swords, or rocks, or big sticks, whatever they had during the time. Oh, goodness. But they never report that. I mean, and they raise Cain about the NRA, but, at least they get out there and make public, here was the situation in this particular town, and this is how it got resolved without anybody getting killed because somebody, come to a store with a gun and somebody inside that store had a gun. And it ended either with or without bloodshed, but it ended. They don't understand that, okay? They just don't comprehend it. I mean, the old farm, when I first bought that down there, yeah, we had meth heads show up. And not up to doing good things because that used to be where their supplier lived. Yeah. And sometimes it got a little tough, But once they understood that, no, not here, ain't happening, go away. I always had a saying, you can either leave here under your own power in a bag, and it don't matter much to me which way it happens. And I guess I was pretty convincing in that. Sometimes that's what has to happen, okay? Because you were too far away from, the normal beaten path. So a little more understanding between urban people and rural people, I see that as needing to happen in this country because, even like with elections, oh, well, we carried more votes. Well, yeah, that's because there's more of these crammed into these cities, packed in there like sardines. Out here in the country, we have land around us, and our cows don't vote. Now, if our cows voted, not a problem. If our sheep could vote, not a problem. Let's make it fair. One farmer may have 350 additional votes because he's got that many cattle out there. Okay? But, yeah. It's kind of sad where we're headed to, and it's going to require rural people to get a little political as far as getting out there and make your vote count. There's too few of us. We're right there at the dividing line now with the urban folks, and it can get crazy. But if you look at the urban areas and stuff, I mean, what's going on in Virginia, when you break it down of the larger cities, man, they got all kinds of representatives sitting there in their legislature because they've got these cities blocked up in little chunks, Yeah, I think you got a representative for about every 2 blocks. And in a rural area, you might have a representative for a county if you're lucky. It's crazy. And they say, I think they probably need to bring the electoral college maybe down to local level, at least state elections, because right now, as you get these cities populated like crazy, it's not good. Okay, not good for the people in the rural sections lose their voice in government, and you don't want to remove people out of the process, because when you do that, then you're limiting their options of what to do. And we're seeing it in Virginia with these sanctuary counties and stuff, where the people of the more rural counties are just going, no, we will not do that. Now, how far are they willing to push that issue? I don't know. And governor immediately, I guess, made a threat recently about calling out the National Guard on these counties. That could lead to a bad situation there. It really could. Number one, they may find out half the National Guard says, we ain't doing that. Tell their commanders, you can go, scratch your head, man. We're not doing that. So, constitutional rights. We got very few of them left intact, don't we? I mean, seriously, we have very few left. It's a sad state we're living in. It truly is. So, as rural people, we need to and I don't care how you vote. Democrat, Republican, Independent, however you vote, doesn't matter. At least, leave us quit dividing these cities up like you're doing. Okay. It's getting a little nuts, with the amount of, you have a new couple move into a neighborhood, they want to add another representative to them. It's like, really? So hopefully nothing comes of it. Hopefully the governor of Virginia comes to his senses, because it could turn into a bad situation there in a hurry. And hopefully it doesn't. That's the last thing we want to see in this country is, people going at each other. But yeah, I don't think the government's ever going to take away your right to keep and bear arms. I think that the line has been drawn in the sand on that topic. It's just not going to happen. And they've been nibbling at the corners now for 20 or more years, trimming back that right to keep and bear arms. When they start telling you, well, you can have a musket. Yeah, okay. I can see you fully understand what the Second Amendment's all about. But yeah, and I think that's partially what needs to be educated. Most of us, I think, in rural areas understand, or should understand, that urban people live in an entirely different environment, and for what their needs are, okay, they'd like to think that doing something about banning firearms and things of this nature would be to their benefit. It would make for a safer society. Although they're going to quickly learn that bad people don't pay a lot of attention to laws, okay? So they'll go into another state, buy a, Saturday night special and come back and blow your cotton picking head off because they know you can't stop them, okay? City folk need to think about that one for a bit, Even if you don't want to personally own a firearm, you don't want the criminals knowing you don't own a firearm. Because let me tell you something, that's gonna move you way up on their list of places to visit, okay? Because they always risk doing a burglary in a house or something of running into an armed owner. Remove that, kiddies, like I said, criminals, by their nature, are going to pay very little attention to your law. And it's going to make for one real bad day for you. Okay. And then you got the secondary thing of rural people are going to go, oh no, you're not. And that concerns me about us ending up in some sort of dividing up, basically, of the country. I'm not saying a civil war. I would say it's going to be more people. It'll be urban against rural. More rural thinking and more conservative people. And that could be a bad situation. It really could. And city folk need to start taking a step back and go, if we couldn't transport goods and services through, let's say, the Midwest, how's that going to affect us? They may find out it's going to affect them a lot. Okay? A lot of their natural gas and their electricity and so forth, and their food, all come from that area. What's going to happen if that stops? Could be for a real bad day. Okay? So I think if we as Americans would kind of stop some of this silliness and quit looking, and I think a lot of it has to do with personal attitude of it's all about me, kind of thing. and start looking at the country as a whole and understand that rural people have different needs than they do. And rural people need to think the same of the city folks and take their needs into account. Where I wouldn't go along with banning guns because that doesn't work. Any place that's ever tried it, it's not worked too well for them. Either you have a crime situation go through the roof, or you have a government who decides now that they're unarmed, we don't have to be quite as nice. That's never good. But so rural people, I mean, if you've got something that would help out the urban people as far as like if they wanted to double the size of the police departments in urban areas, then yeah, that's something we might want to go. Yeah, we could go along with that. We understand where you're at and what you're facing. Need to start acting as countrymen. Okay? We're actually all supposed to be brothers and sisters in this mess. And instead, we're becoming divided. And as much as I'd like to say something other than a cliche, a nation divided isn't going to stand. A house divided isn't going to stand. And we got a pretty good thing going on here if we really think about it. And that includes the folks in the urban areas who run around screaming, we want socialism. If you think socialism's a good idea, I always say the same thing. Why don't you go down there to Venezuela and try to help them folk out? Okay, they'd appreciate it. Because it wasn't that many more years ago that y'all was saying what a great place that was. Look, they got it right. Yeah. Yeah, they have it right. Yeah, right down to eating out of garbage cans. You got it better than you think here in the good old U.S. of A. That's why you have all these people pouring across our borders, some legal, some not so legal. Some people break our laws trying to get here. And to them, I'm sorry, I'm just say go home and do it right. And that way we can welcome you with open arms, appreciate you. Instead, a whole different little society's kind of forming up here, and it's not good. So I guess this barn chat's about, we need to start acting like countrymen. We're all in this mess together. If we don't like what the government's doing, if we would start looking for common ground between the left, the right, the urban areas, the rural areas, and say, I don't agree with you on these topics, but I do agree with this. And start taking that to the government. Say, we agree, all of us agree on this. And it's time you did something about it. Quit flapping your gums and collecting your money from the corporations, and let's get something done, or we're going to fire you, bud. Instead we sit there and we watch TV and we see the commercials from these politicians, and if it sounds pretty to us, we jump in hook, line, and sinker. I just don't know what else to say. Number one, I'd take that television and throw it out the door. It is, Lord, there's nothing good about it. It is nothing but propaganda. That's all it is. And you can watch shows progress. Go back and watch some of the old reruns, and you see where it progresses to try to push a political agenda. And since probably about the 70s, it really started getting bad. Today, I watched a little television here a while back, and I shook my head. I thought, do blacks no longer marry blacks? Because everything you're seeing on TV, it was a black interracial couple. You'd have a black man and a white female and a black female and a white male and Latinos thrown in there, and they were trying to make this all-inclusive thing, and that's what they push at you when you're watching TV. That's mainly what you're seeing. It's like, really? There's nothing wrong with it. Two people fall in love, go for it. I don't even care if they're the same sex, go for it. I figure gay people have the right to be as miserable as the rest of us. We shouldn't stand in the way of that. I know I'm going to hear some of the church folk about, oh, but the book says. Like I said, it's not my business. Okay? That's between them and God. It has nothing to do with me. Okay? I can hand them a book and say, read this thing. You might want to take a hard look at it. But I'm not going to condemn them or treat them poorly or anything like that, because that's not my job here. My job is to try to get along and show the love of Christ to everybody. And that's my job. That's my part. Not to judge them. And that's what we need to start doing. We need to start looking at us as all Americans. And we need to start acting that way. Let's take some of the considerations of the city folk and the leftists and so forth into consideration. But they also need to know that there's another half of this country that doesn't agree with everything that they want to do. And when you start pushing too hard either direction, and I'm not into this white supremacy nonsense either. Y'all need to, you need to go away, knock it off. Okay? You're gonna, and God has nothing to do with this. All right? Seriously. This is not the way He runs His kingdom, and I can guarantee it's not the way He wants to see it down here on planet Earth. So either side is wrong. Okay? The middle ground, that's where we need to get to, and that's quickly disappearing. It's sad. I mean, you got quote unquote prayer groups going into the lion's den, you might say, to stir stuff up. And then you have guys like this Antifa and stuff going into, a peaceful rally to stir stuff up and cut it out. Your fellow countryman has a right to free speech and a right to protect themselves. Things of this nature are just not to be tampered with. You need to knock it off. And I guess that's what this barn chat's about. Can't we all just get along? If a cop deliberately shoots somebody without just cause, that cop needs to go to jail. Okay? And I like police officers. I have several of them that are friends. But I think we need to go back to the older ways of looking at it, away from this, well, I was afraid. Okay, there's been plenty of times in my life I've been afraid and I didn't kill anybody over it. Okay, and if you're too afraid to conduct police work without killing somebody who made you nervous, you don't belong there. And there's a lot of good cops out there. And a lot of them go from out of the academy to retirement and never draw that thing out of the holster except to clean it. Okay? So let's start kind of backing down just a little bit. Okay? Not everything police do is right. Okay? But it is what it is, and we just need to start not accepting that. Okay? Just not accept it. I've seen too much of it. And cops got a tough job. They got a dangerous job. And there are going to be times where they're going to have to take somebody down. But make sure you're just. I'm a firm believer that a law enforcement officer should not use deadly force on somebody unless they are actually using deadly force against you. That would solve a lot of it. That's a good terminology. Okay? An old man shaking his fist at you is not deadly force. All right? It might scare you a bit, but it's not deadly force. Let's stop some of this nonsense. You got a taser on that belt. Use it. Okay? Lord help us if we don't get this under control. And I think Americans as a people have the spirit to go, okay, we've really screwed this up. Let's start trying to get it put back together again before we all suffer. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay? And these kids running around the streets that are talking about anarchy and socialism, and we tried that here, kids. It didn't work. Okay? It didn't work. So what you need is a government that does have some power, but it's very limited, and that your rights take priority. And I don't know that anybody could really complain if we as voters sent a message to the government of we want the U.S. Constitution to once again be the supreme law of the land. And if your laws contradict the Constitution, then your law needs to go away because it is subservient to the Constitution. And folks, the Constitution isn't there to hamper government. The Constitution's there to protect your rights as a citizen. But it's being ignored. So maybe it's time we start saying, no, I'm not going to ignore them. Okay, you can't pass a law just because one house or the other is controlled by one party or the other and violate the Constitution and say, well, but it's law. No, it's not. The supreme law of this country is the United States Constitution. Your laws need to fall within those guidelines. I think that's what we've lost. And this younger generation needs to get it back. Okay? Need to get it back. And if you don't like what big corporations are doing, don't buy their products. Simple. Okay? They won't be big corporations long. All right? It's that simple. Okay? If this pharmaceutical company is doing something wrong, don't buy their pills. Go to somebody else. If, a chain of stores come up with something really stupid that takes away people's rights, don't buy from them. That's all we got to do. Just start putting our money where our mouth is, and you'll see things start to change. A lot of this nonsense will disappear pretty quick. Now, Starbucks, I've drove around a lot in the country, and there's a lot of Starbucks out here. I don't seem to like as much anyway, so us boycotting Starbucks wouldn't matter. Okay? Because we're not the ones they need to cater to, so let them cater to the ones that want to buy their product, and their policies are fine. Walmart, yeah, we could put a dent in Walmart. Wouldn't break my heart a bit. But, yeah, let's start acting like countrymen. We're all Americans. Okay? And yeah, we come in all sizes, shapes, and colors. Okay? Come from all over the world. That's kind of what the country's about. But an American, a true American, is one who has came here the right way and earned their citizenship. And they are U.S. citizens. Right? I understand that a lot of countries have some very bad thing going on, and people are fleeing them. I understand. We have refugee programs for that. If you're going to get shot in your home country, we'll take you out. So let's stop the nonsense. Okay? We got laws. We got plenty of laws on the book. They're talking like background checks is really important. Virtually every state in the union now has a background check when you buy firearms. The only thing is the federal government doesn't have access to that paperwork. Wow. We don't need any more centralized nonsense. We got Washington, D.C. staring at us hard enough. Okay? You can't make a phone call or a text or an email that they don't have a copy of it or can obtain a copy of it. Whew. I'm just thankful I'm getting old enough now to where soon I'll just be able to throw these cell phones away and forget about it. Okay? Start acting like countrymen. Let's try not to draw too many more lines, because I'm fearing that this serving the political parties are going to lead to a divided country. And once it gets divided up, folks, you ain't going to stick it back together again. It just won't happen. Okay? And one of the greatest countries in the world is going to disappear. And I know some people say, what makes you think this country's so great? Well, let me tell you what. All the people trying to get in here, that should tell you something. They come from all corners of the earth trying to come to America. because they have some opportunity. So quit complaining about the place and go take advantage of some of the opportunities that are available to you. Not all of us are going to be millionaires. Okay? Just go make yourselves happy. Quit worrying about all this other nonsense. I know it sounded a little preachy, but I am so tired of watching stuff come out of good, solid Americans fighting against other good, solid Americans just because they don't understand their lifestyle. I think as agriculture got pulled farther away from the population, most city folks can't even relate. They don't even understand how it works out here. And that's a lot of the problem. And we don't understand what they're doing in them cities. My idea of hell would be having to live in New York City. Serious. Just would go against me too much. So let's try to act a little better toward one another. Let's try to be Americans. We're all different. Okay? We are all different. Be it we're all one. And when we unite behind the cause, we can do some pretty great things. Maybe that's what we need to start doing. Let's find some causes to get behind that all of us can stand and say, yes, this needs to be done. Gonna mean compromise. That's what the country is built on, folks. Those founding fathers spent a lot of time trying to hammer all that out. Let's put it back where it belongs, at the head of this country. And suddenly you'll find that it'll solve a lot of the problems we've created for ourselves with these laws that just don't seem to quite go along with the Constitution. Okay. Anyway, that's my preaching for the day. It's been a while since I had a rant. Hope you all are having a wonderful week. I hope you have a better week this week. And we'll talk to y'all soon. This is Rick, Tennessee Homestead. Love and appreciate you guys. Y'all take care.